VIP, knowing my baby loves me. Home with tears.
All right, it is 2D Hard Way. I'm Donovan Sadiq, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. It is getting hot out there. I hope you guys have AC in your car as you guys are sitting out there commuting. Got your little sodas and your little Pepsis and whatever else you got while you're sitting in the traffic watching these big mega trucks rattle your car, and as the sun beats into your car. But anyway, I'm Donovan Sadiq. I'm going to be your host with my partner in crime, the woman that throws rocks but doesn't hide her hand. I hide my hand. Okay. She doesn't hide her hand.
I did it and what?
Yes, D. So, and by the way, we got a lot of comments on your hair the other day. They said it looks very, very nice.
Thank you. I like the wind blowing on my scalp. I can roll with the window down now.
And not everybody could wear short hair, so be glad that your mother has blessed you.
Pretty good sized head.
Yeah. Well, your mother has blessed you with the looks where you can do all that. So that's really good.
I appreciate that to whoever.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that. Chris was saying that too as well. So,
thank you.
My good buddy Chris. We're going to talk about today a thing that is sweeping the nation. It's glorified in movies and music and stuff like that. It's something that goes back to our parents, for a lot of you millennials, your grandparents' day, marijuana. It was really big in Vietnam. All our troops came back all fucked up and on drugs, and that's why a lot of them.
I was going to say, were they really smoking marijuana?
They were really smoking marijuana in those jungles and stuff, and they'd come back, and it's they say they estimated $1 trillion have been spent on Vietnam veterans just getting them help to kick the habit.
Wow.
And a lot of them won't kick the habit. And Chuck Schumer last week announced that he wants to put a bill that is going to announce on a federal level of legalizing marijuana, because like alcohol or like cigarettes, it's not hurting anybody else but the individual who chooses to partake.
Right.
So, Dee, what is your take on marijuana? What do you think about it?
Well, I've never taken on marijuana per se. I've never
ever dated any drug dealers. Go ahead.
Once.
Okay. Good.
I've never smoked marijuana or anything like that, but I agree. I mean, just like alcohol.
Okay.
Just, don't drink and drive or don't smoke and drive. Don't show up to work. Whatever the case is, just be responsible.
Right. There's a time and a place for it. You got to do it. Don't be around kids.
People are doing it anyway, so might as well make it all the way legal.
And make a tax.
People are still going to, do it underground. But.
Right. And a lot of people are saying, well, that's still going to undercut. It's not going to do anything with the dealers, because it's going to undercut people doing it illegally, selling it illegally. Well, that's no different than people who are going to the dollar store rather than Walmart, the corporation. R.J. Reynolds is, as we know, a big tobacco company. They spent billions of dollars in the, paying people for the states for the problems of emphysema and what smoking does. They are ready and equipped to start.
Wholesaling them.
Well, not wholesaling it, but they have the land to grow the weed and the manufacturing stuff like that. So a big conglomerate is going to do it. Right. And one thing that I would say, that when a big conglomerate does it and it's federally regulated, we're not in a garage somewhere and somebody's cutting it with something else.
Right.
So you got weeds with oak leaves. You know what I mean, or whatever.
The only problem that I have with that is I guess do it all legal, whatever the case is, but. It's not only on and popping because the powers that be with all the money say, okay, well, if we're going to go legal, let's get a jump on it and get a major stake in it. Because we all know that R.J. Reynolds, they've been connected with Washington since their inception. So they're all in bed together. And what they're going to do is snuff out the little man, make it hard for the little man to do it.
Well, when you see these little so-called drug dealers making, $9,000 a week selling weed alone, let's say $5,000 a week.
Right.
I mean, that goes to tell you there's money to be made.
There's money in it. And, maybe, I don't know how it would pan out. I've never been a weed customer. But maybe people who smoke weed want to continue getting it the way they're getting it. Maybe if I was a weed smoker, I would shun the big, box weed production company.
But what if it's cheaper?
If it's cheaper, then I guess.
Yeah, rather than getting a dime bag over here, I can get a dime bag with a more volume to it. Which is what happens when corporations come in. It's the Walmart syndrome.
Right.
It just crushes the mom and pops and the local guys, and you get what you got. But there's
good old capitalism.
Yeah, the good old capitalism in its purest form. It just crushes whatever's going on. So I want you guys to think about this. There's a thing called, now the question that, why I'm bringing this up is, you guys have noticed I've put up this app called Stash. There's all kinds of apps you can use to like start investing. $5. That's a Starbucks coffee thing. Now, Dee and I have invested in a cannabis stock. And right now, when we first started, it was $28 a thing. Right now, it's at $34. And it's it's going to start going up. And the whole key to investing is a long-term game. The whole key to it is you want to buy low. Yep. And then sell it when it's high. On the ground floor. Right. Amazon, when it first started, I remember when Amazon was $7 to $9 for stock. To get a one stock of Amazon right now, you're looking at over $1,000. Damn. So if you buy enough of it right now, over, let's say, a 5-year period, right, you're going to have some money put away. It's like a little savings thing if you want to do that.
I'll be able to take a trip to San Bernardino.
San Bernardino, right over here to Edgemont, the real Edgemont. You can go get the real Edgemont. You can go get a real good, get a little...
Or real good. The Skechers restaurant.
Yeah, the Skechers restaurant. Really do I'm sure. Right. Because supposedly there's 21 illegal cannabis things here in Edgemont. Okay. Thanks to Victoria Baca. Okay. But here's my question. You got all these people, black, brown, so-called minorities that are on the wrong side of what this business is and what it's going to be. So the question is, how do we get on the right side? One way is investing in the stock. And when that stock when they get everything settled, that stock's going to shoot up that we have. And I'm going to continue to buy. So there's a thing called the Hood Incubator. And what the Hood Incubator is, this is and you can look it up on YouTube and Facebook. These are 3 women that came together and formed this conglomerate, because what if you do want to get into the cannabis business and stuff like that? How do you do it? Do you know, here in California, Dee, what is the licensing fee?
From what I understand, it's $26,000 just for the application.
Just for the application, non-refundable.
Non-refundable.
$26,000. Mm-hmm. So that's the start. Now, they do this stuff to do what?
Well, to scare off the little man. I mean, you might only have $30,000. Right. You ain't trying to give 26 of it for no potential license.
Exactly. So I want to read you guys this little article real quick. Cynthia says, keep big corporations out. Exactly. That's what we're trying to do. But unfortunately, they're going to come in, because if they're making applications for $26,000 just non-refundable.
And plus the big corporations like your box stores, Walmart, and all that, they know people love a bargain. Right. And so if it means you not going to, auntie and uncle, whatever, opposed to going to get it for half price at Walmart, then
Uncle Rufus's roofie.
Right, all that,
So I'm going to read you guys this thing that they talked about. It was an article that's done, and these girls have been highlighted on different shows. You can look them up on YouTube and so on in their business. And basically what they're doing is they're trying to tell you how to get into the business using different options. Because a lot of us don't have $26,000 application fee.
Right.
And a
lot of us do.
Right. Yeah. But here's another example. Pennsylvania requires a $10,000 non-refundable application fee. That's in Pennsylvania. You got to have a $200,000 deposit with the application.
Okay, so can I paraphrase that?
Go ahead.
Don't waste your time. Okay?
Yeah, don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time.
So, but let me go to show you how big of a booming industry they anticipate this to be. $10,000 non-refundable application fee. This is in Pennsylvania now. That's small-ass Pennsylvania. We're talking about Killicali here.
Right.
So $10,000 for non-refundable application fee, a $200,000 deposit. You got to have all this as you're applying. You got to have proof of $2 million in funding. And at least $500,000 in the bank. All of this during the application process. So, exactly, Cynthia. It's crazy.
That says, unless you're mega wealthy, or you're a senator or somebody who...
Dianne Feinstein, all these people.
That's
so the little man...
Don't waste your time.
Right. So all you Negroes and Latinos and all the other...
And you know what those people are going to do?
Right.
That's fine. We'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Well, they're going to keep doing what they're doing until they go, I'm going in here real quick to get me some papers.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's always going to be one of us that's going to do that.
Right.
But here's something I want to read to you guys. What if all the drug money made in black neighborhoods stayed in black neighborhoods? Even better, what if the people selling the weed in communities of color didn't have to hide the money? What if they didn't have to worry about being arrested 3 times more often than whites? What if the tax revenue for every blunt you smoked went to a local school? or the community itself. That would be so, I apologize in advance, but I have to say it, dope. Okay? Even as Attorney General Jeff Sessions' Justice Department is set to unveil the War on Drugs 2.0, legal cannabis is becoming one of the fastest growing industries in America. It is poised to make billions of dollars and provide jobs to thousands in the next year alone. Yet, for all its expected growth, very few people of color have been able to get in on the ground floor. New Frontier Data, one of the top companies for investment research, issued a recent report that said by 2020, the marijuana industry will create more jobs than the manufacturing industry, utilities, or state and local governments. The industry was worth $7 billion in 2016 and is expected to triple in the next 3 years. Yet the weed industry remains dominated by white people. Kill the white people. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, even though 28 states now have some form of legal pot, a report by BuzzFeed estimates that less than 1% of cannabis dispensaries are owned by blacks and people of color. Some say it is because of the capital required to get into the industry. That's exactly why we can't get into the industry. And we go into the thing. Now, the question you have to say is, why are black people and people of color being left out of the weed boom? What do you think?
Well, I think that hit the nail on the head as far as capital. But you also got to look at the other part of it. Or ask yourself, do black people go to jail or get sentenced to harsher sentences just for marijuana? So it's like, on one hand, we're saying, black people can't get in for this, that, and the other reasons. But on the other hand, they sure can be punished.
Sure.
Very severely for smoking it. So I think it really does just boil down to having the money. But there's so many inner workings that we're not really considering.
Right.
And this is not something black people are supposed to get into, just historically speaking.
But yet we're using it in our community. I mean, we've always used it. Like I said, I don't care what it is.
Yeah, but this legalization of it is just within the last couple of years. So,
right.
I mean, to that point, everybody was smoking it or doing it illegally.
Sure, exactly. But that also brings in another big question. The people that have served jail time, do they get a pardon?
I think Obama pardoned a few of them, quite a few actually.
Well, I'm just saying, if they legalize this now,
pardoned or commuted,
right?
Yeah.
But if they legalize this thing on a federal level, all the people that have been incarcerated,
right?
Do they get their records expunged?
I think they should.
And then how do you compensate somebody who was put in jail for 10 years, and 10 years of his life is gone, and now you made it legal anyway?
Over some weed.
Yeah. You made it legal.
Right.
Something that, he ain't forced. I've never seen a drug dealer put a gun to somebody's head and said, "You're going to buy my shit."
No.
I've never seen that.
For the most part.
Yeah, most part.
Fiends don't want it regardless.
Right, exactly. Others say it is because drug policies have unfairly targeted black people. Most states require a background check with no drug convictions. That's even, in the application process. Many people cite the fact that the territory is so uncharted, the only way to gain entry is to know someone already in the business. Your senators, your congressmen, things like that. Which means white people using other white people as resources.
Right.
So it's not as if black people...
So there's your answer. That's
right.
why black people are... I just like anything else, locked out of the big-time money-making...
aspect of
opportunities.
Right. So basically what the Hood Incubator does, what these ladies are doing is trying to show you avenues of how to get in it on the ground floor using the resources that the federal government sometimes even has out there for you to use.
Right.
And I would strongly recommend that if you are a person who is interested in it, I'm interested in it. If I had enough money to do it myself, I would do it myself. Unfortunately, I don't have $2 million. If I had $2 million, I wouldn't even be in this country right now.
Is that why you're going on vacation soon?
Yeah, I'm not going on vacation. I am going to do a fact-finding mission.
Of what?
Exactly.
What you looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for my brothers and sisters that were probably left over there from my dad being in Vietnam back in the day, and
Papa was
and
a
Rolling Stone, and that's some of our democracy that we spend over there. But at the same time, my dad, to my recollection, was a marijuana user after he came out of the military.
I need to calm his nerves.
Well, yeah, when he was over there. Right. So a lot of stuff, that's going on. The Hood Incubator created a network of resources designed to walk anyone interested in the weed industry through the labyrinth of the hurdles that people of color may face. They offer legal assistance to help with the licensing process. They have business experts who can offer advice on marketing, sales, and financing. Their health clinics educate people on the medical benefits and impact of the medical marijuana. They have even partnered with companies to offer apprenticeships for people who may be looking for employment opportunities in the industry. So this ties in to what, if you guys have not been watching 3 p.m. on Sundays, the DK show, where she talks about group economics. We have $1.73 trillion.
$1.3 trillion.
Oh, well, $1.3 trillion
getting there.
In the black community. And here's a industry collectively that we can get together in different communities, because you have these so-called affluent blacks. Hey, why not get into this industry?
I mean, I agree. I mean, if we're going to do it, we might as well, put the money back into something that we use.
Right.
So, to keep the money circulating.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And also the Hood Incubator, aside from business owners, the Hood Incubator also pairs students with businesses as apprentices in the industry. So if you're a long-term college smoker, you could even get a job rolling.
You think they're going to make them do drug tests?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you think they would? I'm not sure. And what kind of GPA do you got to have to be accepted to the program?
I'd imagine it's, pretty difficult to...
Yeah, roll it up.
You gotta have some agility
right.
going on.
Look, they don't want you to have pockets in case some of the seeds fall down and you get the thing. But real quick, California has the 6th largest economy in the world. If it were a country, its gross domestic product would be higher than those of France, Italy, and even Canada. In January 2018, for the first time, the state will allow marijuana to be used recreationally. Although medical marijuana is already legal, the fact that anyone over the age of 21 can buy a joint just as easily as they can buy a beer will mean hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Why should it all go to the white guys? Can the hood get some of that? And I think that's very important that we make it aware that, we have this industry coming. Why do we wait until it's already here and the door has been closed?
That's such a loaded question. I mean, it just really is, because at the end it asks, why does it all need to go to the white guys? But I mean, I don't like to, some things you can just look at on the surface and say, okay, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But with that question, go all the way back.
That's why I got you.
Oh, yeah. Go all the way back to slavery.
Okay.
And even after slavery, during Reconstruction, it was calculated that we were locked out of everything.
A lot of things, everything. Mm-hmm.
Even when we got started.
Sure.
They made sure we ended it.
Sure.
By whatever means, they being the white people, the people with, the power and the means, the own, production and all that other stuff. And so, to me, it's just kind of along the same lines. And we know why we're always locked out of stuff. It's just, what are we going to do differently or to maybe to get around that? Right.
But, you would think with the hip hop culture glorifying, weed and things like that, it's on the music. It's in the culture of hip hop. We know that without a doubt. It's always been in our culture. It's been a lot of people's culture. But what I'm saying, to me, it just doesn't make sense how we can free advertise for this other guy when we could be getting some of that revenue ourselves.
It's just really about getting knowledge, just like what you just did, just getting knowledge and understanding. If that's something you really want to do, figure out a way to do it.
Right. And again, like I said, I don't think I have $2 million or $2 billion, whatever it takes.
Well, a lot of people don't.
Right.
And I think that right there is by design, not just for the whole black people back, but anybody who wants to get in. I just say the average Joe, if they look at those requirements, they're going to be like, there ain't no way in hell.
No way you can get,
I don't even have 2 nickels to rub together.
But yet I smoke it every,
But I need to have a $10,000, this is Pennsylvania, $10,000 to apply for the license, plus $200,000 in a reserve or whatever. And then $2 million?
$2 million deposit, Deposit, How are you going to get in there? And Cynthia says, I agree. What will we do differently? There's a lot of people that are awake and understand what we're trying to say. So let's say you can't get in on that side. At $28 a share, why not start buying some shares?
Right,
and collectively, why can't we start buying shares collectively? Because guess what? If you own stock, what does that mean to all these cannabis dispensaries that are going to be opening up?
Right.
If you own stock in RJ Reynolds, guess who's the boss? You are.
Right.
So the more stock you have, you become sitting on the chairman's board and all that other stuff like that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we know that it's going to go down.
Right.
That they're going to legalize it.
Yep.
Really only because it's for their benefit. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, this is an opportunity for us to shift the money from the underground, the bad guys, and I'm using that in quotations because that's what they say, shift it and make it legal, and then we get the king's share of that.
Sure.
So that's all that's about.
Sure. And like I said, once it goes on the Wall Street and it becomes a thing, the corporations come in, the more stock you have, the more say you have.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. Why can't we come together? Me and Dee are, we're partners in the investments that we're doing. So, we started here, but if somebody else wanted to join us, you're more than welcome to join us. The more the merrier, The
more the money.
Yeah. But, but again, get your hands out my pocket, nigga. Get your hands out my pocket. Right. I paid for 60 shares. You just got here.
Right.
So we're going to count the shares equally, but, together. Yeah. So that's another way you can get into it. So I want you guys to check out this video. It's the Hood Incubator, and just listen to what they're saying. And if it's something that you might be interested in, or somebody you might think that might be interested in, contact them. If you got questions, answers. We just want to put the information out there so that that this is coming down the pipe.
Right. It's coming.
When the Senate is saying, "Yeah, let's go ahead and do this," that means something is a brewing.
On both sides of the aisle.
Right. Something is a brewing. So if we can do that. So just check out the video and then tell us what you think. So there it is. And so I've contacted them. I'm a member of their little thing. I'm still trying to figure out, ask questions, and I'm going to definitely stay on top of it.
One of the questions, are you single?
Yeah, well, yeah. There's one girl, yeah. But as a disclaimer, I've never used illegal drugs. No, I've never done it.
I was just scratching my neck. I didn't.
From the time I was 17, I was in the military, so and around aeronautics. So I never. To me, it just doesn't make sense to put smoke in your body. I don't understand the concept.
It is weird, especially when you imagine smoking and it's hot.
Yeah, I just don't get that. And then your hair, your fingers, it just stinks. And, I'm a beer drinker, I'm a social drinker. So that's my advice. And like I said, I'm not downing anybody that wants to do it. I was in Jamaica and I saw Bob Marley's son with a big old daddy spliff. And he offered me some and I was like, no, I don't do that. But, so.
It's just blowing in my face though.
Yeah. But anybody that wants to do that, as somebody who has stock, please indulge. Go right on ahead and do that.
We want you to
We want you to, you might have that glaucoma in your eye or something. Right. So, but that's what we're going to talk about. And I want you guys to be aware of that. And we're going to keep giving these ideas out because the way things are going, there are no more full-time jobs with benefits as the robots come in and take your job. So you got people out here working 3 part-time jobs, especially in California. There are no jobs here. The jobs are not coming. They're running the big, nice corporations off. And basically, California now is a services state. And I know people don't want to believe that, but it's true. You come here to visit.
For the uber rich.
Right, the uber rich, exactly. And that's what it's going to come down. If you don't serve the uber rich, you have no job.
When I was in San Francisco last week, the locals were saying that you need, give or take, $200,000 a year. You need to be making that to live comfortably.
Yeah, right.
That's your own home in a nice area, car. Right. Just being able to. Just to live in San Francisco, you need that. And I think it's, 150? In
L.A., yeah.
In L.A.?
You got to have at least a 6-figure salary to live in L.A. And for those that still think, I don't know why you're still watching Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. Good movies, but that was the 90s. When you go to Compton now, you're more likely to run into a white yuppie person, college student.
Nice high-rise
apartments that are all there on right on Pacific Coast Highway. They're building all those things. So that's where we're going, and it's gentrification of our area, just like they did in New Orleans and stuff. And they're just grouping us to move farther and farther, like the Indians, to the Central Plains and things that aren't native to us. But again, we give these ideas out so that if you want to do something other than the illegal, they're locking us up. So why at $28 for one share? They can't lock you up for owning something that is legal.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah. Well, you could crash the economy.
You didn't get that stock the right way.
Yeah, well, you could crash the economy and cost people billions of dollars in their homes, and you won't go to jail. So it's no big deal.
Right.
So, but that's what we want to talk about there. And again, I'm going to continue to put up these different applications for stash and where you can do investments at $5 a week. invest $50 a week in stash outside of my other investments. And why do I do that? I'm not
you're rich.
Well, I'm not a coffee drinker. And, everybody's got their vices. Some people
Right.
go to casinos, whatever. I say, well, I could take, that's $200 a month. So I'm taking $200 a month.
Right.
And investing it. And it's really like a savings account to me. To something that's positive.
And that's how you have to look at stocks, bonds, or whatever the case. It's a savings.
It's like a savings.
It's a lot of people look at it.
I might take a hit, but
a lot of people they look at it as, I'm giving this money away and I'm never going to get it back. No, it's a savings with interest.
Yeah, right. And you'll get it back if you're paying attention to it. Like I said, if the thing goes under, it goes under. I mean, but
just the same thing with a bank account. You have a savings account, but you're getting less than
it's like 0.025%
back. But basically, you're loaning the bank money, and they're going off and making big boss moves with your money while you scared, talking about, I don't want to invest. They're investing in stocks and bonds and stuff with your money.
Exactly. Just a little disclaimer for myself. I'm invested in Walt Disney Company, who owns ABC. I mean, these super corporations.
Did you make some money off the Black Panther?
I did. And then with that big Trump tax cut, I got a whole bunch of dividends that came in. Now, for those of you guys that got the $15 in your bonus in your check, congratulations. That was nothing to what I got in dividend payback. But a good thing, Walt Disney Company, these major corporations, if you're invested in them, we're having a stockholders meeting in New York coming up, and I was invited to that, but I voted by proxy. That's what I'm saying. You have power to do this, and it's on the legal side. And it's just extra money that just keeps coming.
Right.
And Boeing, the defense industry, we're in endless wars. You got to think about this stuff. Endless wars. Somebody's making money.
Right.
$1 million bombs are being dropped on people. You got to replace those bombs.
Right.
You got to look at your investments. I own stock in Facebook, Netflix, the Nasty Kitty. I mean, you would be surprised at some of the very things that you guys get tattoos on. They've got stocks to those. I own parts of Nike. I own parts of Microsoft.
Nike tattoo?
Yeah, Nike tattoo. But you don't see me with a tattoo, and most of the millionaires you don't see have Nike tattoo. You know why? Because we have stocks. We don't need to do that.
You have tattoos and we have stocks. That's how it is.
Yeah, they have tattoos. We have stocks. Yeah, and that's the difference. You're poor. I'm getting dividends.
Look at you with your elitism ass.
Yes, and it feels so good. We're trying to get our mindset to change in how we conduct our finances. It makes no sense that you're going to take $300 and buy your 9-year-old or 7-year-old son tennis shoes when he's growing every 2 or 3 months, and you got to replace those shoes when you could have bought him some Pro Keds, which is like $30 shoes, or some Converse $30 shoes.
Did you mix two shoes together?
Yeah.
Some Pro Wings and some Keds?
Yeah. You just tear the logo off and maybe that extra stripe.
Yeah.
But
gluing it down every day.
Right. But see, that's what I'm saying. We've got to start changing the way we think, for the simple fact that, for the $300 that you paid for Nike, it doesn't make your child a better basketball player. That's for damn sure.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure. And you take that $300 and buy them some Converse for $30, right?
Well, shit, even Converse now, like
right.
45,
well, still, but you're not paying $300. So you take that money that you would have wasted anyway and invest in stocks and put it into a money market
that's too much
account.
like right.
Okay. Well, education IRA account.
That's too much education.
Well, I'm just giving you guys ideas because guess what? Everybody says, nobody told me. I didn't know nothing about it. But wait. But then you'll take $400 and put it on your head.
Who doing that?
To look like somebody that doesn't even care and laughs at you because you're trying to look like them, and they will never accept you.
I would never laugh.
Well, again, see, you're somebody who knows yourself because you don't have low self-esteem.
I was just hot.
Right. But my point is, I can point out hundreds of dollars that people have, even people without no jobs, that they just waste on a daily basis.
Right. I know people that do that
too.
Yeah.
I mean, they buy beer every day. They smoke cigarettes every day. Cigarettes are $10 a pack.
That'll stop me cold in my tracks right there.
$10 a pack. Let's say you go through a pack every 2.5 days. You could have bought 2 things of stock.
Some people do that a day.
A day. 60 smokes a day.
When it went past $3, that's when I'd have been like, you know what? It's time.
Right. Right, but then, as you get older and your health gets worse, then you wonder why you don't have any money, and then we have a GoFundMe account. What's going on? We also talk about not just stocks and how to get these things, life insurance. Could you please tell these people what is the difference between whole and term life insurance?
Life insurance, okay. And I just like to always make this disclaimer. I don't have the ability to sell life insurance through via a license or nothing, but so whole life insurance is exactly what it says. It's for your whole life, okay? And then the other one you said term? Term is for a term. So let's say I get a life insurance policy for 10 years.
10 years.
That's when it ends, and then you'll have to get more. But the whole life does not end unless you stop paying for it. Mm-hmm. You can also pay up a whole life policy, like pay it in full.
Okay.
So they're exactly what they say for your whole life, and then for a certain amount of time.
Now with the whole, I can borrow against it, can I not?
You can. It has cash value. It builds cash value, rather. Mm. So you have the cost of the life insurance. So let's say the cost of it is $10 to maintain a month, and then you invest $20 over that. So let's say you pay $30 a month. $20 of that is going toward building cash value, and the $10 is to keep the policy alive. Okay. So the cost of the insurance.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But see, little things like this that we don't know, there's going to come a point where this GoFundMe is not going to cut it, because to bury the average nowadays to bury somebody is about how much?
Yeah, I would say on average probably about $10,000.
You're looking at $10,000 plus, right?
You want to do it right. I guess right. $10,000. You don't want just a regular wooden box, or just have them throw you in the ground.
Right. And and here's my thing, and I know people are going to get mad when I say this. I know they are. If you got Ray and Pookie out there living the life of wannabe gangsters, wouldn't it make sense to put insurance on them?
I mean, to me, it would.
Eventually they're going to meet their...
regardless of who it is and what lifestyle they're living, you would want to get insurance on it. A lot of people don't understand this. And when you have a child, you can insure that baby after it turns 10 days old. Common sense would tell you, okay, if it's a 10-day-old baby, the insurance is going to be cheaper. Mm-hmm. More than likely, unless they were born with it. They don't have any health issues. Right. And so that's how much you'll pay for that insurance policy until they die. Regardless if they die when they're 90 or they go, God forbid, early. Mm-hmm. So you get a jump on it there. But you should insure your children regardless.
As soon as possible.
Regardless of what the situation is.
And again, another road to how white people keep their wealth is what?
As a lot of times it's through life insurance.
It's through life insurance. They insure.
And that's another thing is, you made a good point. So a lot of people are saying, oh, I don't want to, because I've heard this when I was a life insurance agent. I don't want no life insurance. Mm-hmm. That's a bill. Right. That's a bill I could be paying. Mm-hmm. I could be this, that, the other. And they're saying that as the cable is on. As the cable TV is on. They're saying, that's an expense I don't want to pay for. Mm-hmm. Whatever the case is, but it's like, okay, so then don't look at it just as a bill. Right. Look at it as a savings vehicle. Right. As I said, like a whole life policy, or I can't think of the other one. It slips my mind. It just slips my mind. Not the term is another one. It'll come to me. But so you look at it as a savings vehicle. Okay, I'm paying for a service for life insurance. God forbid I die or my loved one dies. But even if that doesn't happen rather. Maybe I had an emergency go on. I've saved so much money in this policy, I can borrow against it. And I can take that money, I can loan it to myself. And depending on how long you've had the policy, say you got your child insured at 10 days old. The child is 10. Oh my God, I had an emergency go on. I need, depending on how much you save, $5,000, $10,000. You can take that out as a loan to yourself.
Right.
So it is a savings vehicle, and it's with interest. It's not just, it's just saving on its own. It's saving with interest. Right. So,
all the money that I've invested in stocks, I have not lost any of my money. Mm-hmm. If anything, the interest of the money that I've made off of it, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. It's great. Right. And I just let it ride. But I spend $50 a week buying stocks. And
Universal Life. That's the one I was thinking about.
Universal Life. Gotcha.
I was like, I'm not going to rest until
but yet people have cell phones. Well, I don't know what a 7 and 9-year-old child need a cell phone for, but okay. But you can cut that out and turn that into something else. I've heard of kids with 5 and 6 with cell phones. Right. So it's like, why?
Who are they calling?
Yeah, who are they calling?
But those would be the same people too. That life insurance is a bill. Why does your child need a cell phone. It ain't just none of those flip phones.
Right.
It's a whole iPhone or Android with all the bells and whistles that's costing.
And
him
he's downloading
$50,
games that cost money and stuff like that. And
it really is all about priorities, because to me, I'm telling y'all, as an ex-life insurance agent, there is nothing more sad than having, and I've had this happen to me. I'm sitting at my desk, and somebody will call and say, well, my mom passed away.
Where's my money?
Well, we want to use her life insurance. Okay, what's your mom's name?
Look it up.
Miss Ann's life insurance policy lapsed 6 months ago. What you mean? Or this, that, and the other. Or,
they want to come down and fight you.
Or they want to know, my mom or my such and such, they're sick, and they're probably not going to make it. Is there something we can get? No. Well, there, from what I understand, there are some policies that you can get at the last minute, but that's going to run you.
Yeah, you're going to pay a lot of money. You might as well go ahead and pay for the funeral yourself.
But what a lot of people don't understand is life insurance companies make money if you live, not if you die.
Right.
And so that's why they want to make sure you're healthy. You don't have DUIs. You ain't been in jail a bunch of times.
You're a drug dealer.
They want to make sure
whatever.
you're not a risk.
Yeah.
And so get the insurance as young as possible. If you know you're going to have a child, you're going to have a child. If you're going to have a child, insurance, 10 days old. Okay, Mr. Insurance Man, I just had a child, 10 days old. Please come put some insurance on this child.
Right. For those of us in the military, if you have a loved one, thank God Uncle Otis from the Vietnam era, he was in the Army. And let's say he's been in the streets and you finally identify the body and you come home, whatever. It's sad that a lot of us don't know our military benefits in the black community, because as soon as, Uncle Otis was drafted, so he didn't want to go in the first place, but they made him go, right? So as soon as he was eligible to get out, he just ran for the door.
Cut ties.
And I don't blame him. But at the same time, before you cut ties, you need to know what benefits you're entitled to. Get yours.
Right.
And so there's a burial benefit, and they give you, it's not a lot, but like $300-$400 in survival benefits in the military.
That'll pay for the repast.
Right,
the food,
exactly. The food.
We want some fried chicken and stuff at our repast.
Absolutely. He's
Winco.
entitled. Yeah, exactly. He's entitled to a flag and a headstone. Hey.
Hell, shit, that's you know how much headstones cost?
Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly. And he served whatever. And like I said, it's so sad that in our community, the ignorance is bliss. And that's what we're trying to change here and tell things like that. Another good thing is I have friends that are living really well. They're doing really well for themselves. And, and it's kind of confusing to me how you could make all this money, but yet you're broke. But a lot of people are in that situation. And, we understand what has happened, whatever the situation is. Dee, what is the major key when you're in a financial situation? What's the major key to get out of that situation?
Well, the major key is to realize and be cognizant of what puts you in that situation, and stop doing the things that continue to make your situation worse.
So stop digging the hole.
Stop digging a hole, and then reevaluate yourself and say, okay, first of all, I'm in debt, which a lot of people are.
Everybody is.
I'm in debt.
I'm in debt.
What can I do to alleviate some of the debt? In worst case scenarios, and then some people say in best case scenarios, you might need to file bankruptcy. You might need to
do a Trump.
Do a Trump. You might need to roll that car that you can't pay for back to the dealership and say, you know what, I'm giving it back to you.
I'm out.
You might need to stop buying Starbucks coffee every day. You might, there's a whole lot of stuff you might, because that little money adds up.
It does.
But to your point, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. I can be making $200,000 a year, but if I'm spending $205,000, I'm broke. Right. There's people working at Taco Bell and they're keeping their money because they're not doing the things, they're not living above their means. And so, again, it's not what you make, it's what you keep.
But a lot of people nowadays, for some reason, they think, I have a lot of friends that be bragging, man, I'm worth $1 million. And I said, wow, $1 million? How? How can I get in on this, right? Well, I have a boat. My house is worth $500,000. I got a $120,000 boat. I got a Mercedes. I got this. And I said, wait a minute. No.
Then you say, do you own any of those outright?
Well, that's what I asked him. I said, wait. I said, how, if you owe all that, how are you worth $1 million? He goes, that's what I owe. A lot of people have flipped wealth. They think that what they owe is what they're worth. No, that's what you're
that's
broke.
A false idea, bro.
Yeah, you're broke. You are literally broke because you haven't paid for anything.
Right, you're skipping a couple of notes on all that stuff. And your wealth is going to start to depreciate or disappear.
So wealth is what you have in the bank, correct?
It's what you have in the bank. It's it's what you have. It's assets over liabilities.
Liabilities, right?
That's what wealth is,
right? Cynthia, who is married to a United States killer, United States Marine, good friend of mine. Hoorah!
Okay.
She says you can now pre-register with the VA for burial. And I didn't know that. See, and this is why we do information like this.
Okay.
You know, here I am, somebody who's all into the military. I didn't even know that. You know, I thought you have to wait till they kick the bucket before you can get the call.
Now you're giving him something else to do, and he's going to come back and brag about it. Oh, I got this.
Yeah.
I got that for free.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for this.
Military service.
I got a free burial, and I'm ready to die.
That's it. Look. Well, look, I don't need no burial insurance. I got that handled. The government's going to handle that for me.
Yeah, okay.
So then more money saved.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's what we try to do here. And last thing I want to touch on is this thing we had said on the show, 1D show, white privilege. And that came up again. And what it is like some people on my posts or whatever, I can't remember.
They got their panties in a bunch.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just keep it real.
Yeah, and these are some of my friends that I've known for years and years and years. Friends? Yes, they were white friends.
Let's keep it plain. Make it plain.
And it proves my point. And this is why I don't understand why they don't understand it.
Well, that's what white privilege does.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
What makes them the authority to have to come and check me?
Because they're white and you're not.
Is that what it is?
Listen, I have this conversation with Al quite a bit. A lot of times we're looking for scientific reasonings as to why, people are trying to castigate and subjugate you. Mm-hmm. It is simply because they're white and you're not, and they're used to being in a false, and maybe not so false, position of superiority.
Okay.
And so, boy, when I tell you you're wrong,
right,
it's not up to you to tell me that I'm wrong. You just need to listen to me and tell me that, just say, okay, you're wrong.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And if you don't agree, I'm snatching my toys and we're
I'm not going to be your friends again. Yeah. And I'm finding that out a lot. And I'm going to have to agree. Me and Dee don't always agree on everything. And I'm going to have to agree with you on that statement. It took me a while to come around to it. You're absolutely right. We should not be apologetic.
But you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be apologetic and
for how we feel and
slavery. It has happened a long time ago.
Because as you know, I'm a person of facts. I throw facts out.
Right
now, they throw no facts out, but we're supposed to listen to them.
Again, because I'm here and you're here.
Okay.
Stop questioning me.
But again, when for those of you that don't know what white privilege is, we
look in the mirror.
Well, yeah. Well, look in the mirror, but you're also proving us right because you don't have to agree with everything that I'm saying. But how dare you tell me I'm wrong for how I feel or whatever the deal is? It's
learned behavior on their behalf. Those Negroes will never be right. Okay, they'll never be right.
Now here's a better example. We got 2 minutes left, but here's a better example. What's going on in South Africa, right? How can you, as a white person or whatever person you are, talk about it is not fair to take land that was stolen and not compensate the stealers, right? You say that over there, but then right here, you won't compensate. You see what I'm saying? Do you see the craziness in that?
It's not crazy. It's just the way it is.
So it doesn't make sense.
See, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I know you got like a second. No, you better than me, and I'm saying that in a good way.
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't have patience like that for people. I got white friends. I know people find that hard to believe. I do. But one thing they're not gonna do is come and tell me how I should feel as a black person, and I should just ignore all of the stuff that's happened to me. Because one thing you're gonna do is walk away with your feelings hurt. I don't give a damn about your feelings and how I should feel about me. You know what I mean? We can have a conversation, but as far as you trying to, chastise me for not agreeing with you, I would say something very colorful, but I'm trying to be nice to them.
Well, it's just like the article we just read. It shows you the facts of how white people shut us out, but I'll have friends that say that's not true.
Well, because you're supposed to forget about it and move on.
Right, exactly. So anyway, you guys can check out Dee on Facebook Live with your comments and concerns, and on 3 p.m. Facebook Live, Demetra K. Look her up. She's getting the hate, and she answers all your questions there. We're going into the second hour, and you're going to be talking about...
Oh, gosh. I'm going to be talking about... This is funny. White people weaponizing the police against black people.
And we're going to get into that in the second hour. This has been 2D Hard Way. And we're going to be back in the second hour. You guys, thanks for listening. Again, take up some of those ideas that we just had and just think about it. I mean, just think about it. And thank you, Cynthia, for the heads up on the VA and what's going on. And that's got to be a really hard woman because she's married to a Marine. So you guys remember that. All right. We'll see you guys again in the second hour.